Well, thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup today. I'm Niraj Shah, and it's a busy morning of trade simply because of the quantum of cues that stand before us. Now, before I talk about the equity markets, I'm turning the order a bit and I'm talking about what stood out for me because frankly, it was the talking point of the day yesterday, wasn't it? And that was what happened to Bitcoin. Now, this story on the website would tell you a lot. If you are not quite clued in, do try and log in because Tesla's bet on Bitcoin in what is arguably the first legitimacy giving event to Bitcoin. So what did Tesla tell you when it did this? Well, two things. One, that this will be a form of payment. Bitcoin will be a form of payment because it's going to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. And two, that this is an investment vehicle because Tesla itself has bought about 1.5 billion. These are powerful endorsements for the cryptocurrency. Now, please be mindful of the fact that India is likely to get some crypto regulation. Now, whether Bitcoin stays a part of that, doesn't stay, some others stay part of that, don't stay, I have no idea, right? But you have to be mindful of that. However, Bitcoin was on a frenzy, was on a tear. Yesterday was sub 40,000 when this news broke in, and then boom, it just went up. I think this morning when I checked, the price was about $47,000 to a Bitcoin. This is showing yesterday's chart. I think today's morning's rate is actually, so yesterday it was at about 44,000 odd. Today morning it was at about 47,000. So the reactions could be all over the place. I have no idea. I don't think anybody else does too about what Bitcoin will do in the near to the medium term. But this is such an important development in world markets. It's a bit of a new world order, so to say. Let's wait and watch if it lasts. I confess I do not know too much more about it, so I won't go on about it, but might pay to hear some cryptocurrency experts for sure. Okay, now to the things that we know a little bit more about. Even these we don't know too much about, but let's bring in the US markets in focus. They did well. Futures were a little changed, but I think on Monday, the US markets certainly did well for themselves. So good start for those markets. There is this chart. There are these two charts on the Bloomberg terminal. I'll get one of them up at least. One of them shows the extension of the small caps. The other shows volatility and how volatility is now ebbed to the lowest end of the trading range. And that should help, right? If VIX is back to the bottom of the range, typically that is a lot more positive for equities as opposed to VIX being higher, because then you expect more volatility, maybe accompanied with some correction since we are at the higher end of the range for the markets at large. But yeah, for now, VIX is at the bottom of the range. That adds fuel to fire, so to say. Asia was mixed when I saw it last. ASX was in the red, KOSPI was in the green, HSI started off red, in the green. So it's a mixed bag of sorts, but not bad. About quite slightly positive start that the Asian screen is showing, and therefore the SGX Nifty, to my mind, will not be showing too many gyrations. You would reckon that after a really strong move yesterday, you probably have a day of consolidation with maybe minor positives. Certainly doesn't look too negative. Now, what is the trade setup? I think the trade setup is simply this, right? That the global setup is conducive for equities to stay constructive. So that remains. Now, I was speaking to some technical experts, reading up some technical reports as well. And 15,200 to 15,400 is an important Fibonacci level to watch out for in the upward move. By the way, viewers, if you like technicals, and if you're a BloombergQuint subscriber, then there's a BQ Edge event specially for you today, wherein we speak to Gautam Shah to talk about all things technical. What are the levels to watch out for? What are the spaces to watch out for? And then, of course, we teach you about the infrastructure space with Rohit Singhania of DSP Mutual Fund. He will come in and tell us how does he look at infrastructure as a theme and what are the stocks to, how does he choose these stocks? Since budget was all about infrastructure, you may want to tune in. However, getting back to the trade setup, I think it's unlikely that cracks will come in due to Reliance, because Reliance has really not participated too much. So therefore, the Bank Nifty becomes the key monitorable. And large cap pharma and mid cap real estate are the pockets to watch out for. This is on the back of my conversations with dealing room dealers, some institutional guys, about how the next 4 days might shape up. So do watch out. Pharma could be very interesting. Nobody's talking about it right now, and that's what makes us space. So do watch out for that. Nifty earnings today. Adani Ports and SEZ, big stock, big mover, has been making all the right noises off late. Very interesting to see what Adani Ports does today. And Tata Steel, of course, the expectations are they will do well. I mean, just looking at what some of the other companies' EBITDAs have been for a fully integrated Tata Steel, you would reckon that the standalone operations will be very, very buoyant. Let's wait and watch. The stocks to watch out for though today, and I think one of the key names today will be a metal name. So you have to watch out, viewers, for NMDC. To my mind, this will be one of the stocks of the morning in addition to Balkrishna Tires. But I'll speak about NMDC first. Revenue is up 45% at 4,355 crores. EBITDA margins at 63.5 versus 52.9. Can you imagine that expansion? And the net profit up 53% at 2,108 versus 1,374 crores. Now, the point is, viewers, we all know that the results are good, right? What next? And I think the JP Morgan note puts this into perspective very well. So Pinakin Parekh says, he's the JP Morgan analyst, they of course remain overweight the revised target price of 150. The earlier target price was 126. So they've revised it substantially higher, 20% uptick in target prices. He says the FY22 estimated numbers imply a 40% decline from 3Q annualized levels. Can you imagine that? So his high target price still implies a 40% decline from annualized levels on the profitability. And he says that if the domestic iron ore price decline is muted, then there is an upside risk to estimates. So right now, they have priced in a significant iron ore price decline, significant as in compared to what could be. If that decline is muted, then there's an upside risk. And the full benefit of the price hikes for NMDC will flow through in the Q4 net profit, for Q4. So that's the thing that you have to keep in mind, that the full benefit of the price hikes actually flows in only in Q4. And therefore, Q4 might actually be stronger than Q3. Watch out for NMDC. Should react positively today and stay positive. BPCL is the other one. A 16 rupees dividend is a bit of a sweetener there, but numbers, revenue is up 33% at 66,000 crores. And this is compared to estimates of 64,000 crores. So strong show there. EBITDA margins at 6.5%. The estimates were 5.5%. And the net profit at 2,777 crores. It's a growth of 23%. The estimates were 2,038 crores. So they've beaten the estimates very, very handsomely. Plus the dividend sweetener, well, likely that BPCL could have a decent outing too today. Watch out for Balaji Amines from the mid-cap end of the market. I think they came out with a decent set of numbers. Revenue is up 64%. Operating profit margins at 27%. Volume growth 34%. The profit growth 163%. Very strong show by Balaji Amines. So do watch out for that one. And I would watch out for Apollo Tricoat. That stock has been under a bit of pressure of late, despite the fact that APL Apollo is doing very well, because the promoter is selling. The promoter, Saket Agarwal, sold about 1.86 lakh shares at about 915 per share. The depressed prices wherein the promoter has sold more. Well, you follow the promoters usually. So keep this at the back of your mind. It's not an expensive stock, but the promoter is selling for sure. I'll watch out for Balkrishna Tires, as I said. In addition to NMDC, it's a stock to certainly watch out for, simply because the numbers have looked very, very robust. So the revenues up about 27%, EBITDA up 29%, operating margins were more or less stable, net profit up 46%. The company's raised their FY21 volume guidance, so that is interesting. And they have announced capex as well, in addition to everything else. So, I think this puts BKT firmly in the driver's seat. Now, I'll just read out a few other things, viewers. You have to keep that in mind. For a company to do what they have done, which is Balkrishna Industries, Balkrishna Tires, and then announce a fresh capex in addition to capex that they've already mentioned, shows the confidence of the promoter. And therefore, you have to watch out for Balkrishna Tires. I wrote about the tire space very recently. Spoke about how CEAT looks very good from a valuation perspective compared to the others. Not a recommendation, but I'm just saying that that's what the copy says. But BKT out here has done something really well, so do watch out for that one. I urge you to do watch out for Sun TV as well. There are mixed views out here. CLSA, for example, in the note has raised the target prices, I think, for Sun TV. Give me a minute, I'll tell you. I think they've raised the target prices for Sun TV, so you have to be mindful of that. But the point being that the revenue growth was weak. Yeah, CLSA has raised the target price to 645. But keep in mind that the revenue growth number was weak, and there was an expectation of some buyback announcement which didn't come in, and that might maybe just play party pooper for the stock. So you have to be mindful of that when it comes to Sun TV as well. UBS has maintained a neutral there. But yeah, a lot of names that you have to keep an eye out for: NMDC, Balkrishna, Balaji, Camlin Fine. The numbers were pretty strong too. Galaxy Surfactants weren't too bad. EBITDA was up 43%. Fairchem profit after tax was up 105%. I'm sorry, I can't give every number out there, but there's a lot of these small names, NCL Industries, that all of you should be watching out for as well. So like I said, a clutch of stocks which will react to results. From amongst the larger ones, NMDC, PPCL, Balkrishna Industries. Sun TV is a bit of a pickle, so I don't know which way it will react. But watch out for equity markets. Watch out for Bitcoin. It's a news heavy day. Happy trading. Thanks so much for tuning in.